Hey guys, it's JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh here today, and I'm coming at you with a Dream Mirror deck profile, including, as you see right here, the new support that came out in Chaos Impact. I went to the sneak peek this weekend, and I had a great time. I traded with people for these cards. I pulled some on my own, and I got most of the cards. As you'll see, I did have to, sadly, and it actually pains me to, proxy. I believe it is 3 cards in this deck total, but you'll see when we get to them. So without further ado, here is my post Chaos Impact Dream Mirror deck profile for you. So starting off, I have the 3 copies of Ikelos the Dream Mirror Sprite. Now each Dream Mirror has a second effect that's the same, where if you have, for all of the light attribute main deck Dream Mirror monsters, if you have a Dream Mirror of Terror on the field, you can, during the main or battle phase, tribute these in order to bring out the dark version of them, and then the dark versions during the main or battle phase, if you have a Dream Mirror of, what is the light? Joy, then you tribute the dark ones to bring out the light version. But for the unique effect, Ikelos the Dream Mirror Sprite, the light Ikelos, when it's special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, which would be the dark version, you can search and add 1 Dream Mirror card from your deck to your hand except another copy of herself. So that's definitely good to have a super generic searcher in the deck. And additionally, when you have Dream Mirror of Terror on the field, during your battle or main, you can bring out Ikelos the Dream Mirror Mara, which when she's special summoned out by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, you can special summon 1 Dream Mirror monster from your hand except a copy of herself. So she gets off a lot of the Dream Mirror monster's effects as well, since they have effects that activate when they're special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, which includes the 2 copies of Morpheus the Dream Mirror White Knight, who her special beginning effect, her unique effect rather, is the turn that she's special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror monster, she cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, which matters when we'll get to some other cards later in the profile. Additionally, like I said, if you have Terror on the field, you can tribute her in order to bring out the dark variant, which is Morpheus the Dream Mirror Black Knight, which Black Knight's effect is when it's special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror, you get to destroy 1 card on the field. Next up, we play 2 Phantazos the Dream Mirror Foe. Foe has the effect when it's special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror, you can attack directly this turn with Foe. And then additionally, if you have Dream Mirror of Joy on the field, you can special summon out 1 of the 3 copies of Dream Mirror Friend we're playing in the deck. Sadly, I was only able to pull 1 friend during this sneak peek, and no one I could find was either willing to or had Friend at all. So Dream Mirror Friend is actually an amazing card, which is why I run 3. You can it's okay that Foe can attack directly since it does have 1900 attack, but for the most part, Friend's the really good one, and she lets you bring out a level 8 or lower Dream Mirror from your graveyard, special summon out onto the field if she's special summoned by the effect of a Dream Mirror, and you can't special summon herself, of course. This is very good because it helps you recoup your losses from the graveyard, and also it gets those Dream Mirror effects off. Now that's all the monsters of the deck, and let's go to the spells for you guys. First up for the spells, I play 3 Dream Mirror of Chaos. Now this is a quick play fusion specifically for the deck that lets you fusion summon out a Dream Mirror monster from your extra deck, of course. And the thing is, you use monsters you control. If you have Dream Mirror of Joy on the field, you can use monsters from your hand, so it's basically a normal polymerization quick play version. And then if you have Dream Mirror of Terror on the field, you can banish monsters from your graveyard in order to bring it out, which is very good because our fusion monster, which we'll get to in the extra deck, only requires 2 Dream Mirror monsters with different attributes, so 1 light and 1 dark. This is definitely a very good card, and it comes up a lot since we run max copies of the field spell and do everything we can in order to get the field spell out. Next is 3 Dream Mirror Phantasms. Dream Mirror Phantasms is basically a Tenki of the deck. It lets you, upon activation of this continuous spell, search a Dream Mirror monster from your deck to your hand, and if Dream Mirror of Joy is in a field spell zone, all monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, and if Dream Mirror of Terror is in the field zone, all monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. So it's definitely good. As you'll see, as you're probably aware, this set Chaos Impact actually got us our own set rotation in a way where we can have Joy and Terror both out on the field. So this makes your monsters, in theory, having 1,000 attack difference between them and your opponent's attack, because they gain 500 and your opponent loses 500. So it's definitely quite good, but the main reason you run 3 of it is that it searches all your monsters. Now, for the guys who've been talking about so much, we play 3 Dream Mirror of Joy. Now, Dream Mirror of Joy has the effect where during the end phase you can banish it in order to activate a Dream Mirror of Terror directly from your hand or deck onto the field, which Dream Mirror of Terror has the same effect, but when you banish it, you bring out Dream Mirror of Joy. So that's how they kind of tag off between each other. Additionally, Dream Mirror of Joy has the effect where Dream Mirror monsters you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects or their monster attacks, except for your monster with the or Dream Mirror monster rather with the highest level. And this is only, the effect is only applied when you have a light attribute Dream Mirror on the field. Dream Mirror of Joy is good, especially in tandem with the monster card, what is it, the Morpheus light one? What is it called specifically? White Knight. Because White Knight, the turn she's special summoned by Dream Mirror cards, she can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so she kind of helps defend pretty well. And then Dream Mirror of Terror has the unique effect where if you have a dark attribute Dream Mirror on the field, or yes, Dream Mirror monster on the field, anytime your opponent special summons a monster, they get dealt 300 damage. So obviously it's not super crazy, but it definitely helps get in that chip damage a little more. And of course, the main allure of these 2 cards, both Terror and Joy, is the fact that they're needed to get off any of the effects in this deck, basically. For some generic help, we do have the 1 copy of 1-for-1 to bring out your Ikelos, whether it be the light or dark. Additionally, we have the 1 Monster Reborn to get some of your monsters from the graveyard, since the way they tag out is they tribute themselves, so they'll be in your graveyard. And then because this is a deck filled with requiring a field spell, I play the 1 Terraforming, and then this will segue us right into the trap. Because for the traps, we're running the 1 Metaverse as well, so that's like another way to get our field spell on the field. The best way to get our field spell on the field, though, in this deck in particular, is one of the 3 copies of Dream Mirror Hypnagogia. I'm probably butchering that name, but bear with me. So Dream Mirror Hypnagogia is a trap card where you can choose 1 Dream Mirror of Joy and 1 Dream Mirror of Terror from your hand or deck, and place 1 in your field spell zone and 1 in your opponent's field spell zone face up. You can only use this hard once per turn, but the beauty is all of the Dream Mirror cards just have to have either Terror or Joy on the field, period. It doesn't have to be your field. So that means that if you use this card, your opponent has 1 on their field and you have the other, all of your Dream Mirror effects are basically live and you have a lot more options, and it makes the deck a lot better. Of course, I do want to say this deck in general isn't too crazy, but this helps it tremendously because it gives you a lot more options. Speaking of options, I'm playing 2 copies of the new counter trap, Dream Mirror Oneiromancy. Now, this has an effect based off of whether it has Dream Mirror of Joy or Dream Mirror of Terror on the field. If your opponent activates a spell or trap card while Joy is on the field, you can negate that activation and destroy that card. And then if Terror is on the field, when your opponent would special summon a monster, you can negate that summon and destroy that monster. And like I said, this is a great example. Hypnagogia, if this brings out both of them, then this is basically almost a free Solemn Judgment at that point. So it's definitely very good, and this is searchable by Ikelos, which is why I do only run 2 in the deck. Additionally, the other 2 I run for Dream Mirror traps is Dream Mirror Fantasy. Now, as you're probably thinking, One of the downsides of this deck is the way the field spells cycle themselves out is they banish themselves. So Dream Mirror Fantasy, if you control a Dream Mirror monster, you can target each of your banished Dream Mirror Joy and Terror and shuffle those into the deck, and you can banish one card on the field. And then it has a graveyard effect where if a Dream Mirror card would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish it from your graveyard instead. So it not only protects you, but it also recurs you those field spells, so that way you're not running out of resources. Another option that I found is actually quite good in this deck, especially now, is 3 Trap Trick. You play Trap Trick because you do have a few targets for it, including the Hypnagogia as well as Dream Mirror Fantasy. So that's very good. And then the last 2 cards in the deck I'm running, which can also be searched by Trap Trick, are one of the 2 copies of Jar of Avarice. Now hear me out. Pot of Extravagance is clearly the better option in this deck because this deck does not need the extra deck except for the 3 spots for its fusion monsters. The monsters in this deck are all different levels except the opposites of themselves, and they're all different types as well. The point being, and they don't really swarm too much, so the point being they definitely are a deck that needs Pot of Extravagance. But they do tribute themselves, and you do go through cards and stuff like that. So I found that Pot of Avarice, or Jar of Avarice rather, I wish Pot of Avarice. Jar of Avarice is a decent budget option. Definitely not as good, but I do not have Pot of Extravagance, so I'm running this. And since it's searchable by Trap Trick, it's definitely slightly better. But ultimately, I do just want to make that point very clear. Pot of Extravagance is the way to go. If you can't afford it, like myself, then I would definitely go with Jar of Avarice. Now on to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, the only real extra deck card that truly matters is from Chaos Impact, the new fusion monster. What's the name of this? Oneros, the Dream Mirror Earl King. Now, Earl King has some pretty interesting effects. As you see, it's light attribute, but it has an effect where it's also considered dark attribute. Additionally, it has 2 effects, and you can use each of them once per turn. If another monster you control is tributed, except during the damage step, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. This matters because, like I said, the way the Dream Mirrors tag out is that they tribute themselves. So basically, as long as you tag out your monsters, which is a quick effect, so this can go off on your opponent's turn as well, Oneros can destroy a card on the field, which is definitely good. Additionally, if it's destroyed in your possession by a opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Dream Mirror monster from your graveyard except a copy of Earl King, which is again recurring some resources, and that's definitely pretty good. The rest of the extra deck, the only actual recommendation I have, whether you're using Extravagance or not, is Barricade Board Blocker, or Barricade Borg Blocker. Now, this is a Link 2 monster, which requires 2 monsters with different names, and if it's Link Summon, you can discard 1 card, and during the end phase, you can add a continuous or field spell from your graveyard to your hand, and you can only use his effect once per turn, and face-up spells you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So he adds protection as well as some recurrence of the field spells if they happen to get sent to the graveyard, and plus we have our own Tenki of the deck as well, so that being a continuous spell can be recurred from your graveyard. So ultimately, even though it's kind of slow and clunky and everything and uses your resources, this is always an option. The rest of the extra deck, I put somewhat of a thought to it since personally I'm not running Pot of Extravagance, so I have 1 Link Karibo since Ikelos is a level 1 monster, 1 Hippo Shingen, and then 1 Wee Witch's Apprentice, mainly because they recur you back a light attribute and a dark attribute monster respectively. And then I just have a Nightmare package in here being 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, and 1 Unicorn. And as well, I do have, I believe it's 2 or 3 spots left in the extra deck. I think it's 3. Let me know what you guys would put in here. I also have considered potentially this being a deck to put Super Polymerization in the side deck. and siding out some cards in order to use it since you have dark monsters, and then so the last 3 spots in the extra deck could be just like what is it, Starving Venom or something like that, so that way you can get rid of your opponent's dark monsters like their Orcust or something like that. Ultimately, this deck is very interesting. I absolutely love the gimmick. It is quite slow and situational, sadly, but ultimately I definitely like what they're doing, and I don't see it happening, but since the level of like better the deck got from Chaos Impact, if they make another round of support, which I am thinking they may not, since this was 7 cards in this this set that they got 7 cards, so I don't know if they're going to get any more support, but if they do, maybe it'll be better than this support, which was very good. So only time will tell if this deck ever picks up steam and does anything crazy. But thank you guys so much for watching the deck profile. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know any changes you would make. I'm always open to constructive criticism. Thank you so much, and make sure to subscribe. I'm JC Theater Yu-Gi-Oh! See ya!